This video is going to be about how to learn how to play a song without being able to read any of the sheet music. So personally, I am not the best at reading sheet music, and I think it's kind of an unnecessary barrier to getting people being able to play something. So when I'm talking about reading sheet music, I'm talking about the standard notation with a treble and bass clef, like you would traditionally see piano music. So in this case, we have on this sheet music, we've got the vocals on this line, and then this is the piano accompaniment. And this is exactly what's on record. This is Elton John. What the line is for Tiny Dancer. So this actually up here is that whole thing is what's written in here, right? So yes, in order to play that exactly and read exactly what Elton John is doing right there, you would need to read that sheet music. But what I'm going to focus on is how to read these chords. And I think this is a lot faster way to get you playing a song than necessarily reading all of these notes, which I just find to be a lot harder. And also, even if you're just trying to build your repertoire and you need more songs to play, but you can't remember all those chords, being able to write shorthand of just chords can get you through a lot of songs, and that's typically what I do to get me through things. So and then it doesn't require note for note accuracy, so we don't need standard notation, and we also are going to kind of let some of the things slide as far as how accurately we're playing the song. But again, it's just to help us get through it. So in the example of Tiny Dancer, right, so we've got a C, F, C, and this is an F over C, sorry, right here. So that's just back and forth between those two. So we have a C, and then an F over C. Right? So, one thing you might want to do is okay, here I've got a C, and then my next chord, F over C, I'm going to make my F, and then still got a C in the bass. And you'll see a lot of these inverted chords with Elton John, and it's what gives the music a lot of movement, and it's really neat. So it's not even that complicated of a chord, but putting the different notes in the bass kind of gives us a very different feeling. So now I've got something I can play for this intro. C is just for the band, that's an F over A. So now I have my F, but I'm going to have an A here. To a G slash B flat. And then you'll see I just continue with that same thing, right? So I'm basically just repeating that. So we go. Same thing. Our next chord here is a C major 7th over G. So with those slash chords, just figure out the right hand first. So a C major 7th, and then we have a G in the bass. And what that's doing is that's walking our A, G to F. Right, so that's right before ballerina. Right, and then here, so now we're at the ballerina, right? So F, E minor 7, A minor 7, right? So we're just going to walk right through these, and you just figure these out with your triads, right? So our F is going to be here, E minor 7, right? And then we want to go to an A minor 7, and then to a D over F sharp. Okay, so we're walking down these chords, and we can just use root position for these. And rule of thumb is if you don't have the slash chord, just use the root in the bass. So I'm just going to walk down my left hand. Right, so now I've got to go to a D. So I was hearing this A minor. And I've got an F sharp in the bass, D minor, E7, A minor, G7 over B. So I'm just going to walk through those chords. So alright, that last chord there is a G7. And then I've got a B in the bass. So it's really pulling us back to the tonic nicely, so a 5 with a B, right? So, and then we go back into the verse. So I'm just kind of working through this. You see here at like with these guitar chords, and you know it's not laid out the clearest on this piece of music, but that's how I would sort of work through this. I'd look for parts that you know might stick out. It might be a little bit different. Like this walks back into, you know. I might look for inversions that are easier. Like I think the chords kind of sound nicer if they're played down here. Right? So when I get into the bridge, which is, or I guess it's more of like a pre-chorus right before Hold Me Closer, Tiny Dancer. It modulates to an A flat to B flat, and we just work through these chords as well. And these are all, yeah, we're now into a A flat, little trickier key to kind of think through than C, but the same kind of things apply, right? So we have A flat, a B flat, and then a G minor 7th, a C minor, A flat, and we're just gonna work through these. And yeah, I'll find a link or something to a good one on Ultimate Guitar that you can work through, but this would just be G minor 7 to a C minor 7, A flat, then we go to a B flat, and then this is a G7 slash B, and then it goes to a G7 slash D. So that's, I'm sorry, right before a C over D. And we'll talk about this really quick because it's kind of a neat chord and we'll use it again. So just to where we were at, this G7B, we're really preparing to move into the chorus. So we have a G7 with a B. There's my C over D. Okay, so it's a, you see Steely Dan uses these chords a lot. We're going to use it later in here. Elton John uses them a lot in jazz music pretty often. And that sets us up to go into Hold Me Closer, Tiny Dancer, which is just F, C, D minor. The first go around walks up, and then F, C to this G over A. And that's that chord that Elton John kind of runs up the keyboard in these big kind of handfuls of chords. And that's pretty much the whole song. So when we get to here, I'll just take it from this bridge again and walking up to this chorus, and you'll see how this chorus, just walking down. Again, we haven't read any of this standard notation through here, but this is basically telling us the same thing. Hopefully you notice that the difference is that, you know, we don't have to read each one of these individual notes, put our fingers exactly where this is telling us to. We can really play the chord however we want to, wherever we can, wherever's most convenient. So I like that approach a lot more. So we'll start from this bridge here and then work our way through to the chorus, and then I'll show you this G over A chord that really has a pretty unique sound, and it's pretty, I would say, iconic, right? So B flat, G minor, C minor, A flat, the G7, the B to a D, to an F, and then we're going to go down to a C major 7, C, to a D minor. This is that G over A, or sorry, yeah, G over A. So the A's in the bass. That's the chord right there. So we got the A. It's a really nice sound, and so to get that kind of effect, you just walk up in inversion. So this is a nice place to actually. So if I wanted to figure out, okay, where exactly, how do I play that to sound just like Elton John, I can come up here and I can see, okay, the first position that he starts is actually root position. He walks up the inversions and just comes down. So I can go look at the detail of the sheet music to get the exact, way that this is played. And so that looks like this. We start root position and move up. And then back to that F. And the way I like to do this is, instead of jumping around, it's just you play the C here. Yeah, or maybe. So. That kind of brings us to the last point, which is, if we're looking at this, just to kind of pull it full circle. So we get the chords, something like a book like this. Jazz music usually has a lead sheet, so it'll have like the horn melody or the head, but then the chords on top to give you the same information. A book like this, or you can go to this Ultimate-Guitar website, and they've got all kinds of different music on there, and you can get it. Then you want to learn what all those chords are, and then if you want to learn sort of the iconic parts to that fully capture the song, you dive into the sheet music and those parts, and you can learn those individual pieces of it. But that'll at least save you a lot of trouble. So if you wanted to learn, for like the intro, that thing, you can go to the beginning and read it out, and and you'll see too, it's helpful when you do that, because you might find that, like in the case of this, that's also an inversion of the same chord. So the chords might even help you learn how to play that iconic part. So hopefully this was helpful, how to learn songs without reading any sheet music. All right.